So recently, one of our trainee was asked, like, what does actually Salesforce Console app? I mean, as far as I know, because we have not covered so far in the trainings, because it was not needed I mean, it was not rated initially. But then they have asked what exactly is the Salesforce Console app. So what is today's scope is that, first of all, I will tell you what basically is the Salesforce Console app, where we actually required to build a console app. Apart from the custom app, we usually have developed the console apps. तो नहीं, हमने custom apps develop किए हैं. But then where exactly you need to develop this console app? What is the properties? What are the features that make a console app to be the different from the regular application, regular standard applications, regular custom application? How does actually console app is different? And what is the scope? What is the application area where actually we need to deploy this console app? What are the devices? And then where exactly we require to develop this console app? That is what we are going to learn. This is going to be the first thing. The basic agenda is today's of the basic agenda of this is actually to go with the console app. Apart from that, I'm going to discuss these two things also. Most of the batches whom I have given these two example, these two example we have taken after the process builder, and most of the people, they are replying me that we are not being able to do this. So let me have, because अब ये सारे लोग हैं यहाँ पे सारी batches के, so let me have these two assignments to be solved by now, because most of the people are replying me, sir, we are not being able to complete this. We are not being able to get what's the logic of creating a task for maybe the event with the help of process builder. Because in the process builder there is no direct option for this. Well, you have this option in the workflows, but if you deal with the process builder, there is no direct option in the process builder to create a task. So how to perform that? That is again what we are going to see by today. Then I have given one problem, to initiate a process, maybe, to send one email notification after the 15 minutes of record creation. And I have given this option, either you can go with the process and either you can go with the workflow. So that is again something which is, people find it difficult to obtain, because by default, in the process builder and the workflow, whenever you create any time dependent action inside the workflow, we call this to be the time dependent action. Inside this process, we generally call it as the scheduled actions. So whether you go for scheduled actions in the process builder, if you go for the time dependent actions in the workflows, so what's the minimum time that you can select is 1 hour. But if you want to schedule some actions below 1 hour, so what is that logic that we are going to discuss? And this one is an interview question also. They will ask you this question in the interviews also. Okay, if I want to schedule, if I want to schedule one operation, maybe that's related to email notification, maybe that's related to field update action, maybe that's related to creating a task, whatever you can do with the process builder, whatever you can do with the workflows. So they will ask you this question: if I want to schedule one action, if I want to schedule one action, maybe some email alert sending, I want to send some email alert, but the time is below 1 hour. I mean, it's like this example. I have given you this example. Okay, once a record is created inside this hiring manager, it could be any object, and that is not at all important. It could be any object. It's related to some custom object. It could be related to any standard object. So it could be for any object. What they will tell you, once the record is created, we want to perform that action maybe after 15 minutes, after 10 minutes, after 5 minutes, after 10, no, after 20 minutes, after 25, after 45 minutes. What probably they are going to ask you is that below 1 hour, below 1 hour, because in the process or in the workflow, the minimum time what you can select is 1 hour. Now, how to go, within 1 hour? If you want to set some time within 1 hour, like the time could be 45 minutes, or the time could be like 15 minutes, जैसे कि इस example में है. So how to do that also we are going to discuss. So basically the scope is three things. My first agenda is to tell you regarding this, what exactly is the console app. Console app क्या होता है? Because nowhere in the training that has been mentioned so far. अभी तक इसकी जरूरत नहीं थी, and that is why मैंने नहीं बताया था. But then I can see, अभी भी मुझे पता चला कि they are asking this question. So let's take this. It's not a very big deal to what exactly is the console app, है ना? तो कोई बहुत बड़ी चीज नहीं है, तो इसको समझ लेते हैं. चलिए, उसके बाद बाकी की चीजें डिस्कस करेंगे. Now see, what you have created so far is that, if most of us, I mean, जितने भी अभी लोग यहाँ पे join किए, most of us, we have created the apps. How to create the customized apps inside this Salesforce. Although Salesforce If I go with this app launcher, if I go with this app launcher, I can see there are so many applications, some of them like sales, service, marketing. These all are what? These are the standard applications. As soon as you create your own organization, as soon as you create your own developer account. Now you see that there are some application that is being provided to you by the Salesforce itself. I mean, these are the apps. Sales is one application. If I just click this, I can go to the sales application. I can go to the service application. I can go to the marketing. So what are these? Sales, service, marketing? These are the standard applications, and these are something which is we call this to be the inbuilt application. These are built-in application that is present inside our own CRM product, and we have not created. What we have created, so as far as our training is concerned, we have created two this custom apps like Merck Incorporation we have created, and then we have created this Align Talent Acquisition. These are the two Salesforce application, two CRM application what we have created, and probably all how to create this custom applications. Let me go with the same navigation once again. Let me devise how to create this applications. Inside the Salesforce, how you can create the custom application. So first of all, you need to go with the setup menu. Now setup initially have four basic menus. Setup में अगर आप जाते हैं तो always remember there are four basic menu, like administrator is there, build menu is there, deploy is there, and the monitor is there. Most of the time, as far as your development is concerned, I mean, if you are working as an administrator, you are working as a developer, so most of the time you need to go with the options from the administrator and the build menu. But there are some time when we have even discussed the few options from the monitor. Like we have discussed, what does the job means. We have discussed what does a log means, how to find the email logs. Then we have discussed this time-based workflows. If you remember, I have told you, okay, all the time dependent actions, whatever you design, so all the time dependent actions, they are actually reside in a one queue. There's a different form of memories. There are few forms of memories. I mean, those who have learned the data structure, they must know this. That's array is a memory, stack is a memory, queue is a memory, heap is a memory. So inside this Salesforce, you are going to learn these two memory, heap memory, and queue memory. So Salesforce have their, workflows have their own memory, something called as queue, workflow queue. So whatever the time-dependent action you design, all of them are going to reside inside this. So probably you are going to learn, few options from all of them. Deploy abhi nahi ho payega, because deploy is something when we learn the sandboxes, creation of the sandboxes, when we actually learn how to migrate the project from one organization to organization. How to migrate the code from this particular development organization to the production. That time you are going to learn what does the change sets means, what does inbound change and what does outbound change sets means, how to deploy the code from this sandbox to the production. That is something what we are going to learn it later. But हाँ, ये भी चीज आपके सामने आने वाली है. So always remember, there are four basic menus in the setup: administrator, build, deploy, and the monitor. Most of the time you actually needs to work on the administrator and build. And what I was telling, what is the navigation to create? What is the navigation to create the custom apps? Because we have seen there are few standard apps, and we have created this Align and Merge. That is what we have created. Now how we have created, let me once again revise the same navigation. So go to the setup menu, go to the build menu, and inside the build menu there is an link for the create. If you want to, you can click it over here, but what I usually suggest is that don't just click on this, because what it is going to do, although it will expand this, it's going to expand this, but then it is going to make a server call. See, one server call is management, and this page has been loaded from the server. Now we actually don't require this page. We don't require this page, because we are dealing with a cloud technology. And inside the cloud, whatever you see, whatever you click is going to be loaded from the server. And that is why you should be very cautious. You should be very cautious with this. ऐसा कुछ mouse उठा के कहीं भी click करने का नहीं. Okay, just make the click what is required. What is required, because every time when you click something, a page is going to be loaded from the server. If you require that page, then open. It's not an issue. But if you don't require, why just to waste unnecessary server calls? Why just to make the unnecessary server calls? And that is why I usually suggest expand this. Instead of clicking this, expand this. If you expand this, it will not eventually going to make any server calls. That is what we require. Everybody please keep your mics off, because I need to explicitly go and see whether the mic is on or not. So with this, when you expand this create menu, there is an option called as apps application. Now once you click this, this page is going to be open, and we require this page. Now this is the home page for all your applications, whatever the applications, inside this app launcher, how many the application you see, all of them are listed out here. This is the application page. Now I can see here, see, let me try to annotate this. I can see here, there is a list of all console apps, there is a list of all custom apps, but then there is no list for the standard apps. Oh, it is very obvious. जब हमने ये पढ़ा था, that time I have told you, that time I have told you कि standard apps जो होते हैं, जैसे कि your standard app is your, this marketing is your standard app, sales is a standard app, service is a standard app. These all are the names of cloud also. तो इनके सामने में if you go and see this particular checkbox, if you see this particular checkbox, so it is actually unchecked. So for every application, if the custom is unchecked, so that actually means that this particular application is a standard application. It's very obvious. And for those, जिनके सामने में, if you see this, align talent के सामने you see the custom app checkbox is checked. The mock incorporation के लिए भी ऐसा ही है, And for the test console app, that is what I have created yesterday. I have created this. So this one is again a console app. This one is a console app, although it's a console. Moreover, it's a custom app also. तो कंसोल और कस्टम के बारे में अब यहाँ से हम शुरू करते हैं. See, I mean, as you create the custom apps, if you create the custom app, similarly also you can create the console apps. Okay, this is what our discussion. The way you create the custom app, the way Salesforce provide you that facility to create the custom app, in the same way Salesforce provide you the navigations to create the console app also. We are going to learn what does console, what does custom means. But with this page, what we get, इस particular page से हमें क्या मिल रहा है उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. So with this page, what you get is this, it's a list of all custom apps and as well as the list of all console app. So applications, they are, into the two categories. We have discussed this. There are few standard applications. And then few of them is what we have created, like Align we have created. So Align is what? It's a custom application. Merck is what? It's a custom application. That is what we have created. Now, yesterday I have created one console app. See, console app. I have created one console app called as test console app. Test console app. What is this? First of all, it's a console app. Console itself have two categories. Console itself have two categories. Console standard. This one is sample console. This one is a console standard application, or maybe the standard console application, whatever you want to say. This is what I have created. So it's a console application, but that is being created by me. And so it's a console. Moreover, it's a custom. It's a custom also. So I could probably tell this as a custom console app. This is what we have created. So तो यहाँ से हमको एक चीज जो समझ में आती है वो ये कि we can create the standard custom applications. Regular custom applications, regular custom CRM applications, जो कि हमने आज तक बनाया है ना, whatever we have created, guys. So that was what? That was just a CRM application. And we can even create the console applications. So what we have done that time, if you remember, I click this new button. If I want to create any application, I must go with this new button. A single new button is there. Let me just click this. If I go with this new button, it will eventually ask me two options. You got these two options, what you want to do. If you want to create a normal CRM based application, or if you want to create the console application. So it eventually is going to open one page. I mean, the internet is always the internet is slow. Give me a second, let me just open this, Okay. So I was disconnected. Now I'm connected. See here. So when you click that new button, you will going to see this particular page. Now on this page, it will ask you what you want to do. You want to create a regular CRM application, something we call as the custom application, or you want to create a console application. Okay. So we have created these two normal CRM application, like Align we have created, the Merck also we have created. Now first of all, let me discuss. अब यहाँ से मैं start कर रहा हूँ कि क्या difference है between a normal CRM application and a console CRM application. क्या difference होता है इन दोनों में? So just see कि how does this normal CRM application looks like? It actually looks like a website. It basically looks like a website. एक वेबसाइट की तरह दिखाई देता है ये, with this address bar over here, with this address bar over here, ठीक है, यहाँ पे एड्रेस बार होता है, एंड देन आफ्टर एड्रेस बार वी हैव दिस पर्टिकुलर header section is there. This is what the header section. Then this is what this is the tab bar, and we have learned how to customize the tab bar also. This was the very first customization as a part of this CRM training. What you have learned, what you have learned, the very first customization was to how to make this tab bar customizable, how to bring some tabs over here, how to remove some tabs from here. That is what we have learned. With the help of this button, you can customize the tab bar. And we have seen, this is what these are the number of tabs. These are the number of tabs that are arranged over here, and this is the body. What I could tell is the body of this particular page. Okay, this is the body of this particular page. So if I ask you this, how does a normal, how does a normal CRM custom application looks like? So it actually looks like a website. It actually looks like a website. सो दिस इज व्हाट दिस इज व्हाट अब यहाँ से डिफरेंस आपको समझेगा. यहाँ से हम ये डिफाइन करेंगे कि एक एप्लीकेशन जब बनता है तो वी हैव दीज टू पॉसिबिलिटीज. वी हैव दीज टू पॉसिबिलिटी. If we create a normal custom application, so how does it actually looks like? It looks like a website. जैसे कि एक वेबसाइट होती है, ठीक है, जिसमें ऊपर में उसका एड्रेस बार होता है. probably this one is the address bar. एड्रेस बार के बाद में there is a header section. There is a header section is there. उसके बाद में एक छोटा टैब बार सेक्शन हो सकता है. There could be one tab bar also like this. There could be one tab bar, and below is the body. नॉर्मली इस तरह से एक एप्लीकेशन आपने देखा है कि नॉर्मली जो एप्लीकेशन होते हैं वो इस तरह से नजर आते हैं. सबसे ऊपर होगा उसका एड्रेस बार, जहाँ पे आपको URLs नजर आएंगे. What you get over here is the URLs. You see the URLs over there. ठीक है, उसके नीचे आप देख सकते हैं that could be probably your हेडर सेक्शन. जहाँ पे आपको लोगो वगैरह नजर आएंगी, लोगोज होंगे, कुछ ऑप्शंस होंगे, कुछ बटन्स होंगे. एंड आफ्टर दैट इट कुड बी द टैब बार. और टैब बार विल इंडिकेट द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ टैब. डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ टैब जो कुछ भी है. हो सकता है फिर बॉटम में इसका कोई फुटर सेक्शन भी हो इस तरह से. बॉटम में हो सकता है कोई फुटर सेक्शन हो जहाँ पे कुछ ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल हो. तो बॉटम में इस तरह से कोई फुटर सेक्शन भी हो सकता है. इट कुड हैव एनी फुटर सेक्शन ऑल्सो. इट कुड हैव दैट फुटर सेक्शन ऑल्सो ओवर हियर. This is what, if you create a normal CRM application, I don't require to save this. If you create a normal CRM application, it eventually looks like this. अब हम ये बात करते हैं कि ये कहाँ पे suitable होता है. The application what you have created, like you have created this align talent acquisition, it's a normal CRM application. You have created this Merck incorporation also, this having so many tabs, this having so many tabs. We can customize that. That is what we have learned. This is the logo. Now how to arrange that logo, how to make that logo to be the customizable. All of them we have learned all this customizations. So this is how a normal CRM applications looks like. Now if I ask you this, okay, what is the probable devices where this application actually suits? Where this application run on which probable devices? So the first answer is computers or maybe the laptops, even in the tab devices also. So even in the tab devices also we can learn, and then we can have this application to be run. So one mic is on. Those who's this here? Can you please off your mic? Can you please off your video? It's going to hurt the bandwidth of others also. I don't know your name because it's your number. Anyway, सो अगर हम डिस्कस करते हैं ये चीज कि जो एक नॉर्मल CRM एप्लीकेशन आप डिजाइन करते हो जो इस तरह से दिखता है, सो व्हाट कुड बी द प्रोबेबल डिवाइसेस जहां पे ये सही तरह से रन हो सकता है. ऑल्दो सेल्सफोर्स जितना भी क्रिएट करता ना एप्लीकेशन, यू हैव नॉट मेक इट रिस्पॉन्सिव, बट बाय डिफॉल्ट एवरी एप्लीकेशन व्हाट यू क्रिएट इनसाइड द सेल्सफोर्स इज रिस्पॉन्सिव. नाउ व्हाट डज रिस्पॉन्सिव मींस कि अकॉर्डिंग टू द डिवाइस इट इज गोइंग टू एडजस्ट द फ्रेमवर्क, इट इज गोइंग टू एडजस्ट the length, height, width, whatever, the pixels. That is what it is going to adjust is by default. You don't make it to be the responsive, but every application what you create inside the Salesforce, it's by default is responsive. We never bother about the end user devices. If we are creating this Merck incorporation, we have not discussed कि ये कहाँ पे use हो सकता है. We have not discussed because we probably don't bother about the devices. Now this application you can open it in the mobiles also. This application can be open inside this tabular devices also. It can be open in the laptop also, can be on the desktop. It can be open in the screen, some like your projectors also. So we usually don't bother about all this. We usually don't bother about the end users devices. लेकिन अब यहाँ पे एक चीज आती है. If you create this application, normal CRM application, So whenever this application is loaded, whenever this application is loaded, it will be loaded along with the all tabs whatever you have demanded. So अगर आपको ये थोड़ा सा आप कंसेप्चुअल हो जाओ ना, अब मैं थोड़ा सा डिटेल में जा रहा हूँ इसमें, बिकॉज दिस इज अ क्लाउड टेक्नोलॉजी. सी, यहाँ पे आप जितने भी टैब्स देख रहे हैं, कैंपेन्स, लीड्स, अकाउंट्स, कॉन्टैक्ट्स, ठीक है. So whenever this application was loaded, whenever I select this Merck Incorporation, so when this application was loaded from the server, it was eventually loaded with all these tabs, with all these tabs. तो जितना मेरा ब्राउजर का कैश मेमोरी, आई एम प्रेजेंटली यूजिंग दिस गूगल क्रोम ब्राउजर, तो this browser, अब देखो भले ये वेबसाइट में ना, सी दिस वेबसाइट इज एक्चुअली नॉट लोडेड फ्रॉम माय पीसी. ये जो कुछ भी वेबसाइट है मेरा, दिस पर्टिकुलर एप्लीकेशन अलाइन इन्फोटेक प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, this application is not loaded from my PC, although, but then this Google Chrome is actually present inside this device. Google Chrome तो installed है, browser तो installed है, and I'm making this application available. I'm making this applicable. I'm accessing this application from this particular browser. So although the application is loaded from the server, application तो मेरा server से चल रहा है, but then this particular Google Chrome browser, it could be any browser. Your mobile phone even have the browser. Your tab device, every device have a browser, and that is what the first requirement of cloud technology. We have learned this in the initial days of our training. We learned this. Okay, for learning the cloud, any cloud technology, we only require two things. That's what, one is the browser, second is the internet. And this is what this is what the on device applications, sorry, on premises applications, यही तो difference होता है. On cloud और on premise यही तो difference है कि किसी भी on premise application को you need to install it first on the device, and then only you are able to use that. But in case of any on cloud application, you just require two things to access it. First is what, your browser. The second is you must have an internet connection. तो अभी देखो, भले ये वेबसाइट मेरा, दिस पर्टिकुलर एप्लीकेशन इज गोइंग टू बी लोडेड फ्रॉम द सर्वर, है ना, इट्स गोइंग टू बी लोडेड फ्रॉम द सर्वर, बट देन दिस एप्लीकेशन ब्राउजर गूगल क्रोम ये तो इंस्टॉल्ड है, एंड इफ दिस एप्लीकेशन इज इंस्टॉल्ड, it is actually consuming some sort of memory from my device, and that memory is, we usually call this to be the cache memory या runtime memory जिसको बोलते हैं. So when you call this normal CRM application, it is going to be loaded with all these tabs, with all these configurations, it is going to be loaded with all these configurations. Configurations means whatever the feature you are right now looking, whatever the feature, जो कुछ भी features आपको यहाँ नजर आ रहे हैं, if you observe this page very deeply, if you observe this page very cautiously, if you observe this, what could be, what are you seeing? You are seeing a header section. Header section is having this image. Header section is having this search option. Header section is having some some options over here. These are some links to some other pages. It could be some link to some other applications also. Like here with the app launcher, you can probably switch from one application to other application. Then it's have a tab bar, and a tab bar is having so many of tabs over there. Then it is having a sidebar section. Sidebar having this recycle bin component. So this is having what? It's enhanced list view. This is the recent record section. We have discussed in the initial days of our training. We have discussed all this. So if you ask for this home page to be loaded, it is eventually going to load it with all these components, report section, tool section, recent record section, and then enhanced list view section, tab bar section, sidebar section, then whatever the components of the sidebar. That quick link is a sidebar component, recycle bin is a sidebar component, quick create is again, all these sections, all these sections belongs to the sidebar. Then it also having this force.com quick access menu section. So these are what? These are the sections that are present on this particular home page. And with all these functionalities, your home page is going to be loaded. So it is going to take that amount of memory inside your cache. For this browser, whatever the cache memory has been allotted, I don't know what the memory has been available for this. But what I can assume is that this much amount of applications to be loaded, this much of amount of application required to be loaded, when this particular page is going to be loaded from the server with this browser. So this browser must provide that much amount of memory. अगर ये browser इतना memory provide कर रहा है, then only this application is going to be loaded. और अगर ये नहीं करेगा ना, तो इसका मतलब यहाँ पे crash हो जाएगा application. if this, if this is just example, okay, for to load this much of application, you probably require 5 MB of this page, and if the cache available cache is 3 MB, for example, this one just an example. So this application will not be open, this application is not going to be loaded, और अगर load भी होगा तो सारी features के साथ load नहीं होगा. तो दिस इज द मेन डिफरेंस, दिस इज द मेन डिफरेंस कि अगर आप एक कंसोल एप्लीकेशन पे जा रहे हो और इस पे जा रहे हो तो फिर क्या. तो ये पहली नेसेसिटी थी जो मैं आपको बताने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. अब यहाँ से हम ये अज्यूम कर सकते हैं कि वॉट एवर द एप्लीकेशन सो फार वी हैव क्रिएटेड, लाइक वी हैव क्रिएटेड मर्क इनकॉर्पोरेशन, वी हैव क्रिएटेड दिस अलाइन टैलेंट एक्विजिशन, these are the two CRM application, a normal CRM application what we have created so far. So these applications are best suited, these applications are best suited devices for the devices like, now let me give the example, like laptop, like desktop, and probably for this tabular devices also. I don't exactly know about the tab because I myself have not used tab so far. मुझे जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ी. So, but what I suggest is that although it can be open with the mobile phones, अभी तो मोबाइल में भी मेमोरी काफी आ गई है, but still what I suggest is that कि मेरा ये सोचना है कि this application what we are going to create, it is best suited for two kind of devices. Like it is best suited for the tab, it's best suited for this laptop and for the desktop, because in the desktop and in the laptop you have this enormous amount of memory, like you have the hard disk, you have probably the high quality of RAM, then even you could have the SSD memories. So if you consider desktop and the laptop, so that is having a probably enormous amount of memory, so that is memory is not a big issue in that, memory is not that much of a big issue. So this application will be more responsive in those devices. So whatever the application you have created, guys, so far, you have created this application like Align or maybe the Merg. So that a normal CRM application, and then what we can assume to be the end devices, to be the desktop or could be the laptop. But अब यहाँ पे बात आते हैं. Now, but if we are, see Salesforce, Salesforce में ऐसा नहीं है कि whatever the CRM application you create, that is only going to be work with this laptop and desktop only. Sometimes it's the requirement where you probably only require to develop those application for the mobilities, if your device is tab, if your device is a mobile phone. So if you are going to create a CRM application and the end user, your client is asking, we are only going to provide, we are only going to run this application in the tab. For example, if you work for this Merck Incorporation, let me tell you this. Merck is actually an incorporation. If you search for if you go and Google it, you are going to see that this Merck is actually a pharmaceutical-based company, Biogen Pharma. I have worked for this project. So what these guys were doing, what these guys, what their funda was, they were introducing this particular Merck. Actually, they were creating one app, SnapRx. That was the application what we have created for the Biogen Pharma, for the Merck Incorporation. We have created this application called as SnapRx. Now, what was the funda behind that? With this application, they used to give, along with the application, they used to give the tab devices free to the doctor. That was a gift. And in that tab, this application was initially loaded. वो पहले से उसमें मौजूद था. Now there were few functionalities that was related to automation of this the relationship between the kind of business between this pharmaceutical company and the doctors. So that kind of project that was, it was a CRM need for this to automate the business process between these two. और उसमें फिर आगे चल के उसमें बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट था. इट वाज एक्चुअली काफी सारे मॉड्यूल्स थे उसमें. It even involves the patient histories, it involves the database of the patients, फिर medicines, काफी सारी चीजें थी. So that time what intentionally they noted कि ये जो application run होगा, so 90% of the cases we are going to learn this application is going to be run on the tab device, because we are what we have we are demanded कि we basically install this application in the tab and we are going to give this tab to the doctors, उसको देने वाले हैं, and with the help of this tab they are going to, so most probably what they are going to do, either they are going to access it from the tab what we have given to them, or maybe with their own mobile applications. तो यहाँ पे दो चीजें थी. तो now because we were confirmed that time, we were confirmed कि हमको जो application बनाना है, we need to create an application that is in the 90% cases, or even in the client is saying कि 100% cases में the application is going to be run on the mobile devices, like tab devices, like mobile phones. तब अगर मैं एक नॉर्मल CRM एप्लीकेशन इस तरह का बना के दूंगा तो क्रैश होने के चांसेस है. Why? Because this eventually requires to load so many things from the browser. When the browser asks, we ask the browser to load this application. So the browser actually required to load so many components. These all are the components. Let me tell you this. Whatever you see over here, these all are the components. Sidebar is a component. Everything over here is a component. Whenever you click any tab, whatever you see, behind that there is one component. So the number of components what you required, what you required to be loaded when a page is loaded, these are very 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 high. And so it could be a possibility कि अगर टैब डिवाइस का मेमोरी कम है तो द एप्लीकेशन प्रोबेबली कुड बी क्रैश्ड, और द सेकेंड पॉसिबिलिटी कि कुछ कंपोनेंट लोड नहीं होंगे. सो अगर कंपोनेंट भी लोड नहीं हुआ तब भी फंक्शनैलिटी अफेक्ट करता है, बिकॉज इट माइट बी पॉसिबल कि सम कंपोनेंट इज रिलेटेड टू सम अदर कंपोनेंट. इफ यू डिलीट समथिंग फ्रॉम हियर, इफ यू ओपन अ रिकॉर्ड एंड डिलीट, if you open a record and delete it must go to the recycle bin. Now what is a recycle bin? Recycle bin is a component. If the recycle bin is loaded, then this functionality is going to work. If it is not loaded, obviously the functionality it won't have, it's won't going to work. So that is why loading every component is essentially important. तो अगर आप इस तरह का एप्लीकेशन डिजाइन कर रहे हो बॉस, तो जान लो कि ये एप्लीकेशन रन होगा, सही तरह से रन होगा ऑन द टैब, सॉरी ऑन द लैपटॉप और ऑन द डेस्कटॉप. लेकिन अगर आपको क्लाइंट स्पेसिफिकली कह रहा है कि वी आर गोइंग टू रन दिस एप्लीकेशन ऑन द मोबाइल डिवाइसेस लाइक द मोबाइल फोन्स और द टैब डिवाइसेस, देन तब आप ऐसा एप्लीकेशन नहीं डिजाइन कर सकते या नहीं करना चाहिए. That time as an option. Now we, जब इनिशियल रिक्वायरमेंट होती है तो एक टर्म होता है POC, proof of concept. We usually discuss this with our leads, या लीड डिस्कस करता है विद द प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर फिर डिस्कस करता है क्लाइंट के साथ. दे विल प्रपोज कि वी कुड प्रपोज यू 2 different types of application. One is console, one is normal CRM application. तो व्हाट यू सी, अभी जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, जितनी भी चीजें बता रहा हूँ, दिस इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज टेक्निकली दिस इज कॉल्ड एज POCs इज proof of concept. It's a proof of concept कि if you develop this kind of application, it eventually required to load so many of components. So it's obviously going to require lots of cache memory. So the better to this, what we can suggest, instead of developing this application as a technical team, as a technical developer, as a Salesforce developer, what I can suggest, because I know that this application is going to be run on the tab devices, what I can suggest to you, instead of creating this normal CRM application, we can create a console application. Why? Because the console application doesn't looks like this, but that does not mean you cannot include account all these objects. But that does not mean actually you cannot include all these of them. Yes, you can include them in a single tab. In a single tab, you are going to see all these applications. Now, first of all, what you observe when I create this console app, let me first create this console app. And you, as an audience, what you need to observe, what is the look and feel of this application? How does this application looks like? This one is a normal CRM application, Align Talent Acquisition. And you need to observe, right now I'm going to create, in front of you, I'm going to create this, a console application. And you need to observe how does a console application looks like, From there where you get, what's the main difference between a console applications and, what's the main difference between this normal CRM application. बहुत ज़्यादा माइक्स ऑन हो रहे हैं यार, प्लीज़ मुझे बहुत डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है. तो प्लीज़ जो लोग ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, ज्वाइन हो चुके हैं, अपने माइक पे ध्यान रखो यार, ठीक है. अदरवाइज मुझे कैसे आपको रिमूव करना पड़ेगा नेसेसरी, मैं कंसेप्ट से हट जाता हूँ. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, ठीक है. चलिए, सो आई एम गोइंग टू क्रिएट वन कंसोल एप्लीकेशन. हाउ टू क्रिएट द सेम, द सेम navigation is this. Go to the setup menu, go to the build menu. Inside the build, just expand the create. Within the create, there's a first option called as apps. Go with this application. You got the list of all application, what is there as a standard, what is there, what you have created as a custom. Then what are the console application? By default, there is one console application. You got this from the Salesforce, something called a sample console application. But then there's a facility you can create your own application. How to create this? This one is the new button. Just press this new button. You got this option, what you want to create. By default, the custom app is selected. And we have done with this navigation, we have, all of us have created a few custom applications. Now the time is to create the console application. So just select this console, click the next button, give any suitable name, This is the this is what the application name I have given, Biogen Pharma Snaps RX. Okay, Biogen Pharma Snap RX. If you want to give, you can give the description. I don't bother about giving the description. Let me just press the next button. Again, same option. If you want to select this, the same process, we have done this. We know, okay, if you want to make this application to available a customized image, you first need to upload that image into the document object. You first need everything, whatever the static resource. See, whatever the static resource you want to have in the inside the Salesforce. If you are creating one application, if you want to insert an image, this is what the image what we have, align talent acquisition. If you remember the time when we were creating this application, the time when we were creating this application. So what we have done, first of all, we have created with the Salesforce default image. This was the image what we have selected. But then if you want to customize it with your own your own image, you first need to upload that image in the document object. The object ID is 015. 015 is the object ID for this document object. So whatever the kind of a static resource, whatever the static resource, it could be any image of .png, .jpg, whatever the form of the image. It could be any audio file, it could be MP3, MP4, whatever. It could be any video file. It could be, apart from all this, it could be Excel file. It could be .csv, it could be .xls. It could be your Word file, it could be your PPT, whatever all these combinedly, there is a word called as static resource. They will ask you this question in the interview also, how to use the static resources inside the Salesforce. So what does static resource mean? Static resource means a list of all these files. A list of all these files. It could be your image, it could be your Excel, it could be your Word, it could be your audio, video, whatever the file, apart from external to the Salesforce, whatever the file you want to have in the Salesforce. That is something called the static resource. Now, how to use the static resources? You first need to upload it into the document object. Salesforce won't allow you. Salesforce won't allow you to directly upload it from your PC. First of all, you need to upload it from the document object. Document object may upload for, and then only you are able to use this. Then only you are able to use the static resource. This is what we have already discussed. जब हमने application create करना सीखा था, तब हमने सीख लिया था. Moreover, we have also learned कि document object में आप कितनी भी size का, although you can upload any size of image over there, but to be used as a logo, the size should be only up to 20 KB is that. And the same, the same governor limit apply here also. So आप चाहे application create कर रहे हो normal CRM, or if you are creating your own console application, that time also, if you want to upload any image, first of all, you need to add that image in the document tab. And moreover, the size should be up to 20 KB. So this governor limit applies to the both of the application, and the console application also, even for the your normal CRM application also. Okay? So I don't have image. I don't have any image right now because this is not my laptop. पता है मेरा laptop preparing पे क्या हुआ है. So I don't have any image for right now. So what I am doing, I'm continuing with the normal default Salesforce image. Let me just click this next button. Now it will ask you to add the tabs or maybe the objects. Now here is what? Here is the list of all of the standard applications, standard tabs, and the custom objects that what you have created. Even the tabs also have created. So here is the list of all standard as well as custom object tabs. See, align जैसे मैंने create किया था. So what I have decided कि when I was creating this, I have decided कि this particular CRM application must have all of these tabs. We have selected these many of tabs. Home was the default. Apart from the home, I have selected account object. I want account object to be present inside this application. I want contact object. I want lead object. I want opportunities. I want cases. I want reports. And then, after this, we have created HR manager positions and the candidate. That is what we have created. But for now, I'm developing this application. अभी तो ये सारे से created है मेरे पास. But इसका आप arrangement देखो, ये side by side arrange हुआ. If I selected account, तो home के बाजू में account लग गया, ठीक है. When I have selected contact, तो account के बाद contact इसके बाजू में आ गया, ठीक है, right side में. I have selected leads, तो lead यहाँ पर आ गया. हाँ, ये आगे पीछे कर सकता हूँ मैं, वो कोई important नहीं है. मेरा कैसा कहना है आपको कि ये left से लेके right arrange हो रहा है. लेफ्ट से लेके राइट अरेंज हो रहा है. whatever the application tab, whatever the object tab you have selected, वो अरेंज कैसा हो रहा है फ्रॉम लेफ्ट टू राइट. पहला ऑब्जर्वेशन, ठीक है. अब यही चीज यहाँ पे कैसा होता है चलो देख लेते. तो हियर ऑल्सो वी हैव दिस फैसिलिटी कि you can include as many as objects you want inside this CRM application, CRM console application precisely. So I want to have this maybe account. I want to have campaigns. I want to have this contacts, and let me have few more objects over here. Okay, I don't want documents. I don't want macros. I don't want people, but I want opportunities. Then products profile. These I don't want. Analytics nahi chahiye, but I want this HR managers. These are few custom objects that what we have created. I want this candidates. I want this customers also. Align plots I don't want. So all of this, all of these are the objects what we want to have inside our application. Case is already here. So let me just add it. Okay. Now the first difference what we need to observe over here when we were creating. Let me go side by side. That will be a better thing to go side by side. Let me create one normal CRM application also. Let me go side by side. I mean, the difference you can observe side by side. अच्छे से मिल जाएगा आपको. Let me create a custom application also side by side. Let me give this a name. Insert the image. I want to go with the same image. Now here, see, a similar interfaces has been marked. A similar interface I can see दोनों जगह पे. I can even see the accounts. I can even see, and I can select as many of them I want. Whatever the account, whatever you want, you can select, you can add it. Now, what is the first difference? See, observation is essentially important. What is the first difference you see over this page? What is the first difference you see over this page? What's the first difference? What you see over these two interfaces? Home. If you develop a normal CRM application, you got this default tab called as home tab. When you develop a console application, there is no concept of home tab. First of all, there's no concept of home tab. First of all, home tab is there inside the normal CRM application, but the home tab is not there inside the console application. This is the first difference. And that is why it will not ask you for the default landing tab. Inside this normal CRM application, if you go with the normal CRM application, it eventually asks you, what should be your default landing tab? Default it is home, otherwise you can change it also. But when you develop a console app, there is no concept of home tab. And it will not ask you what should be the default landing tab. No, it will not ask you. Okay? So with this all objects, I mean, few of them are the standard, few of them are the custom objects. So I have decided to create one console application called as whatever the name I have given, also Snaps RX, whatever. Now let me click the next button. Okay? Let me click the next button here also. It will ask you to make it visible to all profile users. So what we have done for now, because we have probably not completed the sharing and security. So what we have done, we have make it available for all profile users. भैया जितने भी users हैं हमारे organization में सभी को मिलना चाहिए, ठीक है? And that is why what we have done, we have make it visible to everybody else. What's the interface over here? A similar kind of interfaces, ठीक है? Similar kind of interfaces is here. Well, you should make this to be the primary tab. You don't want to make it a primary. You want to make it a sub tab. ऐसा कुछ तो भी है. Visibility users की यहाँ पे नजर आ रही, यहाँ पे नहीं नजर आ रही. Let me go and press the next button. ठीक है? Now it will ask me ये वाला पेज अब यहाँ पर आ गया. It will ask me तो किस किस को दिखना चाहिए. अगर आपको सिक्योरिटी पता है, if you get hands on the profiles, अगर आप प्रोफाइल पता है तो select any user whatever you want. Okay. Otherwise, if you are not being able to understand what does the profiles means, अभी knowledge नहीं है, just make it visible. That's it. Just make it visible to everybody else. Just make it visible for all profile users. Whatever the user has been created with any kind of profile, just make it available to all of them. Okay. No selections at all. Okay. चलिए. Just save this. Here also let me save this. Side by side चल रहे हैं हम लोग, दो एप्लीकेशन क्रिएट कर रहे हैं ताकि क्लियर कट डिफरेंसेस आपको नजर आए. ठीक है? Now we have created one custom applications. We have created one console application called as Biogen Pharma. See, we have created this. ठीक है? अब ये कैसा दिख रहा है तो मैं ये ओपन करके दिखाता हूँ आपको. ठीक है? Here is what? Here also we have created. Now we are onto the same interface. चलो, दोनों से एप्लीकेशन बनाया है. कि एक एप्लीकेशन हमने बनाया जस्ट अभी, उस नेम इज एक्चुअली दिस SMS APL. ठीक है? With this name I have created one application, but this application is how? This application is actually your normal CRM application. If I go and I select this SMS APL, see how does it looks like? एक नॉर्मल CRM जैसा आज तक हमको सारे एप्लीकेशन दिखते थे, with all these tabs what we have selected side by side arrange हो गए हैं. Now's the time to go with the console application what we have created. We have created this console application called as Biogen Pharma Snap RX. Let me go with this. Biogen Pharma Snap RX. So this is our console application. See how does it looks like. You see the differences? This is what the console application. It doesn't have any tab bar. Okay. It doesn't have a side-by-side tab bar, So that is why the components required, it doesn't have any sidebar component. It doesn't have any recent record sections. It doesn't have any enhanced list view section. It doesn't have any footer section. Okay. And even the header section, I can see also there's only one thing. The image what we have selected for this application, a search menu, and this basic controls. That's it. So with the minimum required components, we have developed an application with the minimum required components. So if I load this application, if I ask for this application from the browser, so it will be loaded. It will going to require the minimum amount of cache memory because it eventually don't require to load so many components. But if I ask for this component, see how many things you can see over here. Chatters दिख रहा है मुझे यहाँ पे with all these feeds. I can see the sidebar, single sidebar components. I can see the dashboard components. And I can see all this task calendar, whatever, because home page. These all are the components of home page. What's the component? Chatter is one component. Dashboard is second component. Calendar, task, items to be approved. These all are the components of home tab. If I go to the accounts, again, the components change. With all these components, see, with all these components, you have, you must see the difference between this normal CRM application, कितने सारे components के साथ load होता है, and it going to require that much of cache memory from your browser. और एक console application का look and feel आप देखो, how does it actually looks like. अब जितने भी objects आपने मांगे थे वो कहाँ गए यार, वो सारे tabs कहाँ गए, ये सारे जो मैंने मांगा था, यहाँ तो मुझे सारे side by side दिख रहे थे, यहाँ देखो एक quick list menu तैयार हो जाता है. See here, it's a quick list menu with all this. Accounts, campaigns, contacts, opportunity. These are the standard objects, standard tabs, what we have selected during that time. While creating this application, we have selected HR manager, positions, candidates. If you want to load the HR managers, go with this. Within the same page, it is going to be loaded. It don't require to additional tab. If you open any record, it will be going to open in a tab. Tab create hota hai. Or you can delete, tab create hota hai. Otherwise, within the same interface, you can see all of the objects. एक ही tab में within the same pick list menu, within the same home page, within this particular area of page, you are going to see the records of every object. If you select the campaign, you will get the records of campaign within the same page, within the same tab. So it is not going to create the number of tabs. If you open any record, then it will obviously going to create one tab. ठीक है, तब वो create करता है. And let me tell you one more difference. अब एक तो ये difference था. I hope you have clear with this. ये look and feel से समझ में आ जाता है. The second is what? Second important difference. Let me tell you this. When you create a normal custom application, a custom CRM, classic CRM application, ये जितने भी create हुए इसका look and feel जो है ना, ये classic है, Salesforce classic है. This is what Salesforce classic. But when you create a console application, this is a look and feel of Lightning. ये जो look and feel दिख रहा है ना आपको, this is a Lightning interface. तो यहाँ ये जो application create हुआ है, this is what it's a Lightning interface. Let me show you this also. Let's branch from classic to Lightning. Okay. Now see on the Lightning how does actually all these interfaces looks like. This is what the Lightning interface. This is what the Lightning interface. If I go to this, if I go to the account, see how does this interface looks like. And let's now compare this with this interface. A similar interface. I can say you that it's almost a similar kind of interface. So whenever you create a console application, it is created with the Lightning components, with the Lightning pages. If you create a console application, it is always created on the Lightning platform. Whenever you create any console application, it will always create it on the Lightning platform. What does the Lightning platform means? It is eventually going to have two things, Lightning page and Lightning component. These all things are the Lightning components. These all things are the Lightning components. Let me tell you this. See this interface. This interface is almost looks like this, a Lightning interface. If I go to this campaign opportunity, how does this page actually looks like? It's almost similar to this particular page. This is what the main difference between a console application and a normal CRM based application. Let me go back and switch it to the Salesforce Classic. So this was the main difference. This was the main difference between a normal CRM application and normal a Salesforce console application. Now, if someone asks you this, what is a Salesforce console application? What should be the answer you need to give? Now, please write it. If you want to write, you can write it. Otherwise, I'm recording this session. You can make it available to you later also. So what should be the answer you probably expected to give? Whenever someone asks you this, what is a Salesforce console application? First of the thing, what you need to answer is that Salesforce console is also a CRM application. Okay, like the normal CRM, a Salesforce. Whenever we develop a Salesforce console application, so that is also a Salesforce CRM application. But it majorly depends on the end user device. If we want to deploy the application, if we want to use that particular Salesforce application in desktop or the laptop, what we can suggest to go with the normal CRM application like this. But if we know the application is probably always going to be used on the mobile devices, like the mobile phones, like the tab devices, then what we could probably suggest them, instead of developing this normal CRM application, instead of that, we should develop console CRM applications. Why? Because it eventually going to load more fast. It requires less amount of memory, and it makes you available all of the required tabs. It makes you available in a simple quick list menu. Whatever the number of objects you want to add, you can add any number of objects. It not going to restrict you. The functionality is it's not going to restrict you on the level of the functionality. You can have the same functionality, but with the minimum component. With loading the minimum component on the browser, you can access this. So that is why for those devices, where the memory is an issue, where the memory could be less, memory could not be expandable, like the mobile device, like the tab device, there is what you can suggest to go with this kind of CRM application. Go with the console applications. So whenever it is required to develop a mobility kind of application, then we always develop console applications in the Salesforce CRM. This is what the console application is all about. Okay. Now, if you have any question regarding this, you can ask me. Otherwise, let me go with the second topic. Yes, if you want to ask something related to this, you can ask me. Yes, guys. Any question if you want to ask me regarding this, you can ask this.
No, sir.
Sir, excuse me. Sir, this is Asit.
Yes, Asit.
So the functionality is same as that of a standard application, means we can
Sure.
report,
The functionality is same. Even you can apply the workflows, process builder, reports and dashboard, everything you can apply. You can go with because functionalities in the Salesforce doesn't depends on the application. If you remember, we have developed these workflows. We have learned workflows. Workflow आप कहाँ किस पर create करते हो? We always create the workflows on the object. We always create the process builders on the object. We always create reports on the objects. ठीक है? तो जो ऑब्जेक्ट्स की बात अगर हम कर रहे हैं, तो अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं कुछ ऑटोमेशंस की, फंक्शनैलिटी के हिसाब से अगर आप ऑटोमेशन की बात कर रहे हो, automations like workflows, like process builder, like reports and dashboard analytics wala part. These things are always created. These things are always created on the objects. अब objects तो यहाँ भी available है आपको. You have all these objects available here also. Objects आपको यहाँ भी available है. And if you go with this, if you go with the your console application, here also you can see the objects. तो अगर आपने कोई workflow बना रखा है या कोई process builder बना रखी है जो account पे काम करता है, if you insert any account, if you insert any account, new account record, if you insert any new account, see the interface is same. And if you have developed any workflow, okay, whenever a new account has been inserted, a workflow, a process builder is going to be fired. तो आपको वो यहाँ पर भी रन करेगा. So जितनी भी SaaS functionalities है, SaaS software as a service, जितनी भी SaaS functionalities है, that is going to be available with you here. हाँ, अभी हम PaaS और EaaS की बात नहीं कर रहे, because what we are proposing this to the end user, और यहाँ पर end user की device के हिसाब से बात हो रही है. Why you created the console application? Because our end user is probably going to use this on the tab device. तो वहाँ पे वो development नहीं करेगा. He is not going to write down the classes. He is not going to make this workflows. तो वो वहाँ पे नहीं. Whatever we have created, he is going to use that only. So we are talking about SaaS functionalities. Now every SaaS functionality what you see over here is available in the console application also. ठीक है? तो console application को आप अपने डेवलपमेंट से कंपेयर मत करो. What you are doing, guys, you are actually into the PaaS and EaaS business. ठीक है? Whatever you developed and when it's going to be deployed, अब उसको जो यूज कर रहा है ना, वो पर्सन SaaS यूज कर रहा है. What you are doing, you are into the PaaS and EaaS kind of thing. उसके लिए आपको बहुत सारी चीजें चाहिए. दैट इज व्हाट इज अवेलेबल इनसाइड दिस विंडो, वो यहाँ नहीं मिलेगा आपको। मैं बात कर रहा हूँ डिप्लॉयमेंट के बाद की बात, ये डिप्लॉयमेंट के बाद ऐसा दिखना चाहिए। तो डिप्लॉयमेंट के बाद क्या दिखता है, SaaS दिखता है। डिप्लॉयमेंट के बाद जब प्रोडक्शन पे चला जाता है कोड आपका, है ना, प्रोडक्शन के बाद की बात, तो वहाँ पे पैस और ईयास की बात ही नहीं होती है। जब हमने एंड यूजर को दे दिया तो हमने क्या दिया उसको, सिर्फ एक सॉफ्टवेयर दिया यूज करने के लिए, आप यूज करो। अब आप चाहें तो ऐसा देखो और ऐसा यूज करो, या आपको ऐसा नजर आए आप ऐसा यूज करो, है ना, वो डिपेंड करता है कि वो डिवाइस कौन सी है। ये बात SaaS की हो रही है, ठीक है, सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ सर्विस। यहाँ पे पैस और ईयास को इन्वॉल्व मत करो।
Okay, thank you, sir.
Anything else on this? और कुछ पूछना है इसके ऊपर? I have something on the chat also. All other configuration functions, हाँ, तो अब ये वही बात है, configuration functions जो है, आप अगर पैस को इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हो, ईयास को इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हो, तो मैं उसकी बात ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं बात कर रहा हूँ सिर्फ SaaS एप्लीकेशंस की, ठीक है। Now let me go with this. अच्छा, और कुछ है तो पूछ लो, otherwise let me move on to the next topic.